Hello guys. I've been asked quite a lot recently about the difference between mindfulness and relaxation, and not just from members and students but also from teachers. Um, so I have talked about this area before, but I want to go into it in a little bit more detail. And also, we forget these things. I think we need to be told things over and over again, and after a while they become lodged in our cellular memory, if you like. They're not just a few sort of thought memories, but we know them in our cells, in our body. Okay. So the best way of doing this is through a metaphor of the two pools. So imagine there are two pools of water. It's a hot day and you want to cool down, you want to feel refreshed. So there are these two pools of water, pool A, pool B. Now, both of these pools are a bit odd looking because they're both ringed by rubbish on the outside in the water, which pools can, if neglected, they can gather rubbish. But anyway, so pool B, we go to the edge and we jump over the rubbish into the pool and we have a nice time. Just, lovely. It feels good. We get out, we feel refreshed and we feel cool for a while. It's a hot day, so eventually, Pool B, we go to pool B, and what we do with pool B, we look down, we bend down, and we pick a little bit of that rubbish up with us, and take it into the pool, take it into the water, and the water cleans it. And we realise it's not rubbish; it's something of value. But anyway. Now, these two pools, obviously, they represent two approaches to meditation. But just let me back up a bit. If after a while, which pool would you rather swim in or relax in or bathe in? Pool B, of course you would. Why? Because it's getting clean. It's being cleaned up, it's being purified, for want of a better term. Okay? So, what does this mean in relation to that question? Well, pool A, jumping over the rubbish, just to have a nice time, is an approach to practice that most of us start off with. Most of us begin our life of meditation with that idea that I'm just going to jump over my rubbish and just have a nice time. I just want to feel calm. That's what meditation is. Because you see the books, the covers on the books, there's, a young woman or a young man. They're always young, sitting, and they're in this sort of posture, and they're looking up to the heavens, and they look so serene. Yeah, right. Yeah, not real life. Okay? Now, that is the approach of calm. We just want to have a nice time. We just want to feel relaxed. We don't want to know about any rubbish. Oh, no, 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 no. Pool B is the approach that, we take here. What we do is, in that pool B, we take some of the rubbish into the meditation with. Now, what does that mean? What we do is, let's switch to what we do with pool A. If we're feeling sad or a little bit out of sorts, the idea is to just ignore it, just to feel calm, just to avoid it, almost to just, I don't want this, I don't want to feel like this. But the problem with that, it doesn't go away, because you get out of the pool again and you just feel hot and bothered again. When we practice with just the first pool, nothing fundamentally changes because the rubbish is still there. It's there for when we get back out. It's there again. With pool B, after a while, the pool starts to become clearer. It's purified. And that's because with pool B, we begin our meditation practice, and if we feel a little sad or out of sorts or whatever it is, we are willing to meet it, to feel it, to experience it. So if I'm feeling sad, I acknowledge that there's a sad feeling. Right now, just acknowledge how you are. It's that acknowledgement, the honesty, and the willingness to experience whatever's here that cleans up the pool. And after a while, these held emotions from the past begin to be purified and released. That's the cleaning of the rubbish. Of course, it's not rubbish. Sadness is not rubbish. Sadness is a seed of compassion. If we don't have the capacity to feel sad, or we try and avoid or to banish sadness out of our life, we shut off the ability to feel empathy and compassion. Now, what we do with our approach, and we do this here, we combine the two practices. There's nothing wrong with relaxation. Of course there can't be. But in the long term, it doesn't change anything. It's like snipping. I'll give you another metaphor, if I may. I don't want to over metaphor you out. But I'm going to give you another metaphor. 10 years ago, Gaynor, my wife and I, we got an allotment. And it was full of weeds, waist high the weeds. Oh, what are we going to do with that? Anyway, some bright fellow up there said, look, what I can do, I can dig it up for you. I've got a digger. I thought, great. I didn't have to get the spade out. Okay. So he dug it all up. He looked wonderful. He said, now what you do, he said, put loads of carpets on. So I'd heard about this before. So we've got lots of old carpets. We covered the whole area with carpets. We thought, that's it. The weeds are dead. The weeds, rubbish, brilliant. So, after a few days or a few weeks, I can't remember now, but we decided to start planting some things from one end and work our way up. We lifted the first bit of the carpet. And what do we notice? The weeds, they weren't exactly dead, but they weren't flourishing either. But little ones were poking up. They were, they'd be weak and yellow. But we pulled the carpet back, and after a few days, what happened? The weeds came back. So all we'd done was chop them up. We hadn't uprooted them. That is, if you like, the carpet over the weeds is like relaxation. I feel sad, so I'm just going to calm myself or whatever. It just blankets things out for a while. It doesn't deal with the root cause, which in the case of the weeds is the roots. What you have to do is get your hands dirty and get the roots out. So the approach we have here is we get our hands dirty. And this is what makes a difference to our lives. This is eventually how we move from a life of agitation to a life of, more joy, more pleasure, more ease. I like the word ease. You've heard me use it before, I think. That is our approach, but we combine them both. There's nothing wrong with calm, so we might follow our breath for a while and even use the counting. But at the same time, if there's something going on in the body, we feel sad or frustrated or angry or afraid, a bit scared about something, or just out of sorts, we include it in the meditation. We feel it. That's what we do. And that's all we need to do. You don't need to know why it's there, the cause of it. We just feel it. That's all you need to do. Where do you feel it, and what does it feel like in the body? That's what cleans up the pool, as it were. But if we only follow the path of relaxation, the weeds come back. But what happens if you pull those weeds out and you leave them on the side for a few days, away from the soil? What happens? They die, but then what happens? You can use them for what? Compost. So it nourishes the soil. So these weeds, this rubbish that we don't like at first, they're actually what season us. They make the soil of our life richer. That's what they do. So what I'm suggesting that we do is when we sit in meditation, that we acknowledge and just be honest about what's going on. Acknowledge anything at all. We become curious about what's actually going on right now. We're not trying to work it out, get rid of it in any way whatsoever. We welcome it into the container of awareness. And awareness does the job. Give your life over to awareness, at least in meditation. I'll tell you something. I've given my life over to what we could call awareness. It's just one name for it. I've given my life over to awareness. Because awareness knows how to live life better than my ego. Yeah, always wanting, always trying to get noticed or not noticed, manipulating, engineering, judging, opinions, views, beliefs, full of it. But trust in awareness in a sense of embodied feeling. Trust in that. Because awareness is here, isn't it? It exists, but it's not a thing like an iPad or a box of chocolates or a cushion. It doesn't have a shape, it doesn't have a colour, it doesn't have form, but it exists. You cannot tell me awareness doesn't exist. If you did, I'd be worried about you. But where do we get this intelligence from? It's from awareness. It's our innate intelligence. So we at least in meditation, hand our life over to awareness. Just feel what's here. Sadness, elation, joy, anger. Just feel it. Come out of the thinking mind, and into the body. Now just want to add something. Now there's nothing wrong with doing things that relax us, like listening to music or lying down and doing a relaxation exercise. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, and I would never knock it. I sometimes listen to music just to relax because I enjoy music. Might watch TV or stroke the dogs or take the dogs for a walk. They're relaxers. We all need ways of just relaxing. It's just healthy. A lot of people have forgotten the art of it. Not very easy to relax for some of us because we're on the go too much of the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm suggesting is don't confuse the two. Do your meditation practice as we've talked about here. Relaxation isn't a substitute for meditation as we speak of it. We're clearing out our life. We're enriching our life as we practice. We're getting to know ourselves. There's nothing wrong with sadness. Welcome it. It's a great friend. It's if you lose a friend or a friendship or anything, we're bound to feel sad. It means we're alive. Okay. So practice with both pools. Nothing wrong with relaxation, but we welcome everything, the pleasant and the unpleasant, and trust in that, trust in the welcoming, the experiencing of whatever it is. Okay? Let's just have a few moments of quiet here. What's going on? Just being honest, curious. That's it. So in our next meditation, that's what we do. We swim in both pools. Nothing wrong with feeling calm, but within that calm, see, is just the container for welcoming, for seeing, for noticing how thoughts come and go. How fleeting they are. And if you really take yourself into a feeling, a sensation in the body, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be sadness, fear. If you take your awareness right into it to explore it, you don't find anything. They're what we call empty of something substantial. There's no center, there's no core to it. There's nothing solid about them. And then we begin to relax with them. They still arise, but they're not a problem. That's the thing. These emotions continue to arise, but we don't get clogged up with them. We don't attach to them. We don't cling to them. We don't have opinions about them. I hate these. I don't like them. That's the problem. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. See you soon.